Hi, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you have joined from. Welcome to the live interactive session for week three. We've done week one and two, and you would agree with me that it's been very engaging and insightful. So today is the live interactive session for week three. If you are excited, let's see an emoji in the comment section to say, yeah, I am geared up for this. So today we'll be doing adaptation and mitigation strategies in processing and packaging. And to take us through this, we have two very wonderful facilitators, and you'll get to know them later on as we move on. So quickly, we'll always do. Oh, so before we go ahead and start introducing ourselves, if you are a French speaker, please log into the Zoom meeting just like you've done, and then click on the interpretation button that's at the right, um, and then select your preferred language. Please, there is the French and then English there. Click on French and then mute original video audio if you don't want to listen to the facilitator's voice in the original video so that they are not conflicting. So when you click on French, try to mute the original video audio so that you will be able to hear clearly. Thank you so much. So quickly to establish agenda, we have the introduction, we have about AFC, and we are going to be unveiling top scholars for week two today. And then we have the participant sharing session where you get to, share your key takeaways from all of the learnings you got from the portal, after which you have the speaker's presentation. We'll go to the portal, walk through, and then the membership drive, and we'll close for today. So quickly, let us know your name, let us know your country and your agribusiness. Oh, my name is Patience Brimo. I'm from Nigeria, and my agribusiness in this case has to be African Food Change Makers. So please tell us your agribusiness and feel free to connect with other people in the comment section. That is actually what this is meant for. So to take it a little bit further, use your favorite emoji to tell us how you are feeling today. Are you really pumped up for this session? Are you excited? Are you looking forward to learning from the facilitators we have today? Let us know with just an emoji. So, like we always do, we'll tell you about African food chain makers. And like I used to say, most of you should have learned African food chain makers by now and just be saying it alongside as I am saying it. So, at African food chain makers, we believe that small and medium-sized enterprises are the lifeblood of the food ecosystem in Africa. These enterprises are driven by visionary, dynamic, and innovative entrepreneurs who operate as primary producers, aggregators, processors, distributors, finance and technology providers, chefs, cooks, consultants, and innovators. We call them change makers. It means you are a change maker. For participating in the BRACE program at all, you are a change makers. And we understand that these change makers are faced with the devastating impact of climate change, global and local risks and shocks, macro and microeconomic challenges. These entrepreneurs need funding, they need training, visibility, market linkages, and a community of support to successfully scale their businesses. Through the African Food Chain Makers Hub, we enable African entrepreneurs to start and scale resilient and sustainable agribusinesses that nourish Africa and the world at large. So how we do it is by community, by data and opportunities, by visibility and recognition, as well as learnings and trainings, just like what we are doing with the BRACE program. So quickly, we want to unveil our top scholars for week two. So let me see some, emojis in the comment section celebrating the top scholars for week two. So if you know you're a top scholar, start celebrating yourself now, even before I show your face, right? So congratulations to all the top scholars for week two. So this week we have top scholars from different countries. So I think we have a lot of other countries here, and we have many Nigerians as well. But then we have Bright Adzura from Ghana as a top scholar. We have Gladys Tima from Malawi as a top scholar. We have Yusuf M. Dabai from Nigeria. We have Fiona Tinawo from Zimbabwe. We have Aminu Ibrahim from Nigeria. We have Yan Madalitso Saini from Malawi. We have Mutinta Chungo from Zambia. We have Olakomi Odetayo from Nigeria. Okocha Ifeanyi from Nigeria. Adora Obianyo from Nigeria. Pierre Podiogu from Malawi. We have Amida We also have Amida Nix and Robert Austin from Nigeria. So congratulations to all our top scholars for the week. Congratulations, congratulations. So I want you to say congratulations to the top scholars for the week. If you also know that you're looking forward to being a top scholar in the coming weeks, we still have week 3, we have week 4, week 5, and week 6. You never can tell, you can just be the next top scholar. So congratulations to everyone that made it to top scholars for the week. Thank you for your resilience, for your hard work, and because that's actually why you are a top scholar. You like we always say, it's not enough to just do the assessment. You also have to be available for the live interactive session to become a top scholar. Congratulations, everyone. So quickly, we'll go to the participant sharing session, and in this session, you would just want to tell us what you learned from week 3. What's your key takeaway from the portal? If you've gone through the module 3 in the portal, let us know what your key takeaways are. What have you learned from processing and packaging as told in the portal? So quickly, let me see your hands raised if you want to share. If you have something very key that you got from the portal and you want to share, please let me see your hand, and then I'll ask you to unmute and share with us. I'll check. Okay, I think I'm seeing one hand. Onwoha Okocha, please go ahead and share with us. So I'm asking you to unmute so you can share.
Okay, yeah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please go ahead.
This is Okocha Onwoha Ifeanyi. First of all, I want to express my joy being emerging a top scholar this week.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you so much. From Nigeria, I've been into research, researching on awareness, mitigation strategies, adaptation strategies, mostly for livestock farmers. I'm an animal scientist, and I'm in the academia and the university, but I run dogs and agricultural resources. I'm in University of Nigeria, precisely in Enugu State in Nigeria. So all the while I've been researching, meeting farmers and all that, my mind never went to the fact that packaging, processing, distribution of livestock products, meat, egg, and all that contributes to climate change. I didn't know, my mind never went that way. But in the course of this particular model, I came to realize that a farmer's activities as relating distribution, packaging, processing, contribute significantly to climate change. And I tell you, I've designed so many researches. I'm going to follow up from this angle as I meet with my farmers as an extension agent as part of my work as a climate enthusiast. So I'm so happy that this model impacted me so much, and I'm happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. And that's actually very insightful. So for me personally, I'm glad that you actually took something new and you would be following up going forward. Thank you so much for sharing. Moshood Mejigbedu, please go ahead and share with us.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have learned, because I used to be very curious about why are we having food waste? Why farmers? Because I'm a farmer. After going through a lot of stress to produce food, and we still see food in the trash. But I was able to realize the difference between food lost and food waste. That was given by the Code Up code up, I think I've forgotten his name, but I was very excited to be able to differentiate between food loss and food waste. So this made me to realize that we can actually prevent food wastage, because I discovered that food loss is any food that left the farm and couldn't get to the table. And food waste is the food that left the farm, the production point, but got to the table, but unfortunately it was unable to consume, or it got wasted from people. So I was able to differentiate the two, and I'm not thinking on how to educate or bring an idea or innovations on how to mitigate these circumstances. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much. So I have Alexis Mbomb. Please go ahead and share. Hi, Alexis. I'm asking you to unmute and share. Alexis. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, please. Hello. Hello. If you are speaking,
Allô?
I can't hear you.
Kazembe, à partir de la RDC.
Okay. Oh, I think is a French speaker. So one of the French interpreters should please, interpret as Alexis speak. So I'll ask Alexis to unmute again and speak. Then Drissa or Ramat, please interpret to us.
Oui, j'ai dit. Alexis Mbumbe en RDC, Association des agriculteurs sans frontières et entrepreneuriat agroécologie du bassin du Congo. Par rapport au module des pertes, nous avons quand même eu l'expérience par rapport à ce que nous avons appris cet module, et ça nous a permis d'orienter les gens au lieu des pertes là, mais de faire maintenant les aliments pour les bétails et les poissons. Ça nous a aidé cette formation. Merci beaucoup.
All right, thank you, Alexis. So Drissa, we're waiting for you to interpret to us. But while we're waiting for our interpreter, Aisha Jamil, please go ahead. Aisha, I'm asking you to unmute and go ahead. Aisha Jamil, I see your hands raised, so I'm asking you to go ahead. Okay, if Aisha is not ready, you carry her. Please this is going to be the last hand we'll take, so that we'll go to the facilitators afterwards. We'll come back here. So you carry her, please go ahead, ma'am. You carry her, I'm asking you to unmute and go ahead. You're not able to unmute. I'm asking, I have. Okay. So you're no longer muted, but I still cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. Is it me? Is it my network? You carry, I cannot hear you at all. Could it be your network?
Now?
Okay, yes, now it's fine. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I am Eukaria Ebere. I'm from Nigeria. I think one of the key words I learned is about the greenhouse gas. One that's using less of grain as feed helps to reduce the greenhouse emission. So that more of pasture help to curtail that and livestock feeding. I also saw something about some management system, which, though I am an animal scientist, I work in the ministry, but there are some nitty-gritty that, get more real to me while going through this modular, and I really appreciate it. Though I have one complaint, because
Okay.
after the score, I got 100%. I'm surprised I didn't see my name. And I've
Oh,
always been there on the live section. Yeah.
for week 2, is it week 2 or week 3?
Is that
So
week
if
2?
week 2,
Week,
okay.
yes,
Oh,
because that's my area and I didn't want to play with it.
okay, so we'll look at it. We'll check again because it's
Okay.
actually compiled automatically by the system. We don't do it manually. So, but I'll look at it again.
It's
All right,
okay.
thank you so much for sharing, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
please would go to the facilitators now, and then we'll come back for the contributions or the key takeaways so that we don't take too much of our facilitators' time. And also, we understand the way it is to come. So many people with different questions after the facilitators presentation, so that we'll have enough time to allow the speakers session and as well as the Q&A. So quickly, we'll go to the facilitators session, and today I've already said we have some very wonderful people in our midst that will be taking us through the mitigation and adaptation strategies in processing and packaging. So the first speaker for today is Vosbeth Kofi Azuma. He's the founder and CEO for Vokia Farms Ghana. So Mr. Vosbeth is the founder and CEO of Vokia Farms. He holds a postgraduate diploma in international development studies with a specialization in community development from Trent University, Canada, and a first degree in BA Social Sciences from the University of Cape Coast, Ghana. Is the 2022 overall Volta regional. Oh, I see that there's a complaint that my screen is not okay. So I'll stop sharing and share again so that you'll see my screen. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, I just hope you are able to see my screen now. Sorry about that. So Mr. Vosbeth Kofi Azuma is the founder and CEO of Vokia Farms. He holds a postgraduate diploma in international development studies with a specialization in community development from Trent University, Canada, and a first degree in BA Social Sciences from the University of Cape Coast, Ghana. He is the 2022 overall Volta Regional Best Farmer at the National Farmers Day Awards. The New York Times in 2019 recognized Mr. Azuma's contribution towards African agriculture innovation as one of the young millennials making farming sexy in Africa, yet tilling the soil once meant shame. For his key role at Vokia Farms received other notable recognitions worth mentioning. Among them are District Best Agro-Processing Company of the Year 2021. And in 2021, he ranked among the top 100 startups in Ghana that are most passionate about growth, sustainability, and job creation by TANU African Network of Entrepreneurs. Moreover, for his visionary guidance and undaunted leadership, he received the Young African Leadership Award in 2018, an initiative by the United States government. Mr. Azuma is passionate about entrepreneurship, food security, and community development, and plays a key role in improving Ghana's agricultural sector. So with a rousing ovation in the comment section, let us welcome Mr. Vosbeth Kofi Azuma. Thank you so much. Hi, Mr. Vosbeth.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your listeners
All
and
right,
also
good
those who have
afternoon.
joined in the
So
session.
please, so I'll just stop sharing so you take it up from here. Thank you so much.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Hello, good afternoon. Please, is my screen showing?
Yes, please, I can see your screen.
Okay, let me, because the last time, notice, please, when I'm scrolling, is it showing? Just to make sure, because the last time I noticed that when I was scrolling down, it was only the first screen I was showing. Hello? Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I
Yes,
can
we can
hear
hear you,
you.
sir.
Please go ahead.
I keep scrolling. Is it showing?
Yes, we can see your screen. It's showing.
Okay, that is
But
fine.
it's not on slide mode yet.
Okay, that is what I want to confirm then.
Okay.
Is it in a slide mode?
Yes, it is. Please go ahead. So.
Okay, that is fine. Good afternoon to everyone. And it's a pleasure to join you. My name is Vosbeth Azuma, and I'm a farmer, basically. And farming, we have to share knowledge, basically to share knowledge. What might not work for me, my colleagues elsewhere in Nigeria, Uganda, Kenya might have solutions to them. And if you're able to share knowledge as well, and what is not working for me, I might get solutions from your end. So basically, if you're a farmer, you can't keep your knowledge to yourself. That is why I believe in knowledge sharing. So I'm happy to be invited to speak on the topic, adaptation and mitigation strategies in agro-processing and packaging. My company, Vokia Farms, have been in existence for the past 5 to 7 years now. We are purely into farming. We do crop farming, livestock, crop like maize, 50 acres, 100 acres, livestock like cattle, goat, sheep, birds for eggs. Then we recently introduced agro-processing. The agro-processing section is barely 3 years now, and we are doing so well in the sector. And we have some products on the market, mainly cereal-based products. So if you can share with me, if one or two persons can voice out, I want to know your expectations for this particular session. Just a quick one. Any volunteer? Okay, Mr. Ben. I think there is a volunteer if the person can.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so thank you so much for doing this. So as you begin to speak, I see that you're doing big in the agri space. So what I would like to hear from you is how were you able to start and grow at a very fast rate that you're becoming an award-winning enterprise? How did you raise money? What was your source of money? If you can talk a little bit about how you got money to increase your, expand your project. Was it through, how did you grow your business basically?
Okay, thank you. So I'll give you an answer later. So basically, I'll be speaking on the Vokia story between 2017 to 2022 until now, where we have made adaptation and mitigation strategies a hallmark of our business. I'll also touch on a common enemy, which we all know and why we are gathered here, climate change. And I also speak on how climate change affects processing and packaging generally. And what is the new norm? What are the banks saying? What are the grants, those that give grants, what are they saying? If you're looking for money to expand your business, what are they saying? What is the new norm relating to climate change? Then we'll look at adaptation and mitigation strategies, what they mean in the context of food processing and packaging. Adaptation and mitigation could make different things in different angles and different sectors. But when it comes to food processing and packaging, per my experience, what does it mean? Then what is Vokia doing when we talk about that adaptation strategies so that you can equally adopt? And what are we doing when we talk about mitigation strategies? Then at the end, I'll just give a bit conclusion. So I'll proceed. Between 2017, around 2017, 2018, I suffered my huge losses. Over 100 acres of maize farm was gone. And let me play this video. I don't know if you can clearly see the video, you can watch the video. Is it showing? Just to be sure.
Yes, it's showing, but there's no sound.
Okay, no problem. It's just for you to see. This was actually an investment in over 100 acres of maize farm. And as a result of issues relating to climate change, we have lost all of them. And we try as much as possible to save them, where we have to even dry them in the sun. But at the time, the rains were not permitting. And in the past too, it doesn't rain at that time. During those times, usually in the dry season, but it rains here and there, affected them. We tried to work with the poultry farmers to buy them. Unfortunately, when they bought it and they tried to do their feed, the taste that the product is giving them, the birds were not even liking to eat the product or the feed. Basically, we decided that we stop farm and sell in the raw state and begin to think of value addition. So that's how come the dream value addition came in. No, we all talk about climate change. I mean, I know most of you, all of you on the line by now know what climate change means. But just to briefly speak on that, it refers to a long-term shift in temperature, weather patterns, and environmental conditions on Earth. And this leads to changes in rainfall patterns and extreme weather events, basically. So change in weather patterns, rainfall patterns, and extreme weather events. And these changes are actually caused by what? The current phase of climate change is driven by what? The industrial practices, which because of the industry in which I am, is driven by human factor, burning of fossil fuels, and also deforestation. These are activities that are contributing to what? The climate change that we all see today. Then the question is, how is this climate change affecting food processing and packaging? I'm sure most of you or some of you are into food processing, or some of you have shown the desire to go into food processing. How is this affecting the industry? One major factor that we experience is there's a supply chain disruption. We rely on grains, maize, millets, sorghum, soya, all these products to help us process. And if there's a disruption in patterns of this supply, which affect our productivity. So because of the unpredictable weather events like changes in rain patterns or prolonged droughts usually delay the supply of these raw materials. So these are the issues. Another factor we are experiencing is the rising cost in production, rising cost in energy. So when we say rising cost in production, the extreme weather events such as drought reduce the availability of raw materials available. So now few or more people are competing for fewer raw materials available. Farmers are complaining about what? Their grains or their products being destroyed, or they have lost their crops. So the processor, don't have a reliable source of supply. So when you are packaging, of course, the price that you bought those products, you have to increase your price. Energy costs. The rising temperature increases energy consumption for cooling systems at the factory, adding to utility expenses in factories and warehouses. Another issue is food safety and quality risk. The constant changes in temperature and humidity usually accelerate the spoilage or contamination of food when you are not able to properly store them. Then another factor is the water scarcity. Reduced water availability in our operational area affect critical processes like cleaning, processing, food production facilities. Sometimes in a week, a month, then the water is not flowing in the tap. The reservoirs, the streams are drying off. So these are critical challenges that we are facing. And how do we ensure that we solve these problems through adaptation and mitigating strategies? So you are aware that these are the major factors that affect us: the supply chain disruption, the rising cost through production costs, energy costs, food safety and quality risks, and water scarcity. Now, what is the new norm? This is where you, as a business owner, you must know. One, there's pressure for sustainability. Climate change has driven demand for environmentally conscious practices. So anything that you are doing as a business, if you're not conscious about the environment, you cannot stay, you cannot survive. Your business will not survive. Consumers are even trying to patronize products that are environmentally conscious. People want to go to the malls and you buy products and you give them even polythene bags to pack in. They say, no, I don't want to take these polythene bags. Those that are conscious about it. Government is also realigning their policies. In the past 2 weeks, the government is banning certain plastics in the country. So what happens to those companies that are now producing those bags in volumes and millions and tons? What happens to the employees if government shut down those operations in the country? So as a business, if you are in the business, you begin to think of sustainability. Available funding sources, the multinationals, the banks, government concessionary loans are all geared towards businesses that are conscious about the environment. Many funding opportunities are now directed towards businesses that integrate climate smart practices and focus on adaptation and mitigation. I'm sure wherever you are, whether in Uganda, Nigeria, Kenya, most of these funding sources that you are tracing, I'm sure if you read whether you qualify or not, they'll be asking for these things. So businesses, these are a new norm. So by addressing these challenges require a combination of what? Adaptation and mitigation strategies, if you have to address them. So when we say adaptation, what does it mean? Adaptation basically in food processing and packaging, adaptation means that using new technologies to handle extreme weather conditions or supply chain disruption. So all the challenges that I've raised above, that is affecting Vokia. What is Vokia doing? I'll get there and I'll share them with you. Transitioning to crops or ingredients that are more resilient to climate change. So you're adapting, mainly adjusting to the changes caused by external pressure. That is adaptation. Adjusting to changes caused by what? External pressure. Now, when we talk about mitigation, we are basically talking about what? Reducing or preventing a negative impact that might rise. So you adjust, but you now put in measures to prevent it from happening the next time. One will say it is only a fool who will go through challenges, but will still repeat the same mistakes. So you have to mitigate. This often involves proactive measures, for example, minimizing packaging waste by introducing eco-friendly materials, cutting down food losses with innovative preservations, or efficient supply chain management. So what is the Vokia way when we say adaptation? Now, the first thing that we do is we are now shifting our focus to the use of drought-resistant seeds or crops. When we say drought-resistant seeds, we are basically talking about seeds that has been improved, transitioning to crops or seeds that are more resilient to climate change. In Ghana, people know of Pana, people know of Lake. These are drought-resistant crops or seeds that it can use. The one will say that what is the drought-resistant crops? Cassava, millets, cowpea, sorghum. These are crops that are drought-resistant. These seeds are specially bred to thrive in a water-scarce condition, making them valuable for sustainable farming. So those are some of the examples that I've mentioned. Implementing these crops can align with climate adaptation strategies and might even open up funding opportunities for sustainable agricultural practices. Another adaptation strategy is diversification of suppliers. In the past, we rely on one or two suppliers, and we suffered huge supply disruptions. So if a supplier fails to deliver raw material due to production issues that it's facing, it can cascade through the chain. You are not able to get the raw materials on time. You are not able to produce on time. You are not able to meet the demands on time. So for food processing and packaging, this could mean delays in sourcing ingredients or packaging material disruption, and affecting timely delivery. So at Vokia, simply put, we diversify supplies. We have several sources of supply from multiple sources, ensuring continuity if one supplier is affected. Another thing that we adopted is maintaining buffer stock. How do you maintain buffer stock? So maintain safety stock levels of raw materials and finished goods to meet demands during disruption. And in this case, we leverage our technology to track our raw materials that comes in and our raw materials that go, the ones that we process and the product that goes out. Basically, will not be there in 2 days' time or a day, then they say, look, all your raw materials are gone or they are finished. So that is a buffer stock maintaining that I'm talking about. Another adaptation strategy is the energy efficient usage, renewable energy integration, not to have any negative impact on the environment. We have moved away from firewood as a source of heat. Of heat is either gas, firewood. Some can prefer solar, but in our case, hello?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Hello, am I being heard?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so in our case, we have to move beyond the firewood and begin to think of what renewable energy integration to our operations. So we move away from the firewood as a source of heat. The new machines that we have imported, they are designed in a way to ensure there's a zero shooting of plumes into the air, and we are currently considering transitioning processing plant to solar energy to reduce the greenhouse gas emission. Another aspect is the energy efficient machinery. Vokia Foods have invested in energy efficient food processing equipment to manage increased energy demands. You know, some of the local machines that we bought initially, like the dehydrators, were not properly done. So there's a lot of energy lost. So, but we are able to invest in machinery to bring in good machinery that per the manufacturing standard are energy efficient and can get the work done within the shortest possible time. One interesting thing that we agro-processors do not know is that in recent times, there was an energy audit done for SMEs in Ghana. And they realized that one of the agents of power theft is caused by us. Preventing power theft requires regular audits, monitoring of energy usage patterns, educate employees about impact of power theft. Example, let's say leaving your wall sockets in the factory, they are on. Your TV, you just on it using the remote, off it using the remote. Your AC, you just off it using the remote. All these systems are on. Your light, you sleep, you wake up by 7 or 8 or 10 before you off the outside light. These are power theft and the agent of power theft. They contribute slowly to your bill. So as industry expert or processors or those in the industry, you should begin to think of what? Installation of photo cells into our building so that even by 6 o'clock, the light is off before you even get up from bed. Your facility, there should be somebody that should be monitoring all these things. They should not be on. Because if you the TV is off, but the wall socket is on, they are agent of theft. At the end of the day, they will contribute into your bill, and they also contribute into the energy issues that we are facing with. If you're able to save the energy that you use, you have an efficient process in terms of production processes. Then another issue will be, another adaptation strategy is the food safety and quality control systems. You know, changes in temperature, humidity can accelerate spoilage or contamination during storage and transport. So now, how do you store? So at Vocare, we have implemented a quite number of strategies to enhance quality of final product and meeting regulatory standards. Do not joke. Don't say adaptation and what does it do with food safety? What does it do with quality control? No, it is a serious issue. And as an agro processor, what are some of the standard operating procedures you have? How do you receive your raw materials? What systems? You know, with Vocare, you know, if you have heard of these big companies whereby there will be issue with some of their product on the market, and they will have to withdraw, call the product that shop A, shop B, shop C. If you have our product, bring it back. It's because they have implemented a robust raw material receiving SOP, and they have implemented a robust traceability system. For instance, with us, every raw material that is received at the factory is assigned a lot number. Lot number indicating it comes from location A, location B, location C. On a particular day that you want to produce a particular product A, and you need about 10 or 11 ingredients, the production director takes the production form or the batch form and calls for all the various lots from these locations to form the product. At the end of the day, the product that you are producing has a standard SOP that it goes through. If you finish packaging, you assign a batch number. So the batch number, the various lots that you have feed into the batch number that is put on the product. So if the product is on the market, whoever you sold the product to is tracked. So if there are issues with the product, you can quickly trigger a recall for the product to be returned to the factory. Their line clearance system, how do you clear? You have multiple products that you are producing. How do you clear the lines? How do you introduce another product? Storage of product at the warehouse. How do you store the product? There should be a standard procedure. First, how do you receive it? What are the testing systems? You know, there are now test kits to test the moisture content of grains. Grains usually should be between 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 at worst before you can store moisture content level. But if you go to your 14, 13, and you are storing grains that have 17, 20% moisture level, within few 3 weeks, aflatoxin set in, your grains is spoiled and there's contamination. You can't use those grains to do processing. If you use it, there will be issues with your product. So those are the things that must go in when you are thinking about storing this product for longer term. Handling return goods, these are SOPs. Batch numbering, liquid waste management. How do you handle liquid waste at site? Then the water that we use, how do you use water? We have a recycle system whereby all our wastewater are channeled into irrigation, flowering systems. These are, and some of the machines that we have, the machines run on water. So the water goes through and comes back again, goes through and comes back again. You are saving water. And you're not discharging those waters upon each batch production, basically. Pest control. sanitation, staff training, the staff that you have, it also matters. They also feed into the adaptation mitigation strategies before you can actually combat the major issue of climate change and before you can actually feed into the new norm. What are some of the trainings that you have for them at the facility? How do they think safe? How do they work safe? And in terms of loading, how do you train your staff to load ergonometrics? Because sometimes somebody working with you or working for you for 10 years, you don't take care. By the time the person is gone, you have issues with waste problem. But you feel it is not related to adaptation climate change. But these are elements that fit into the larger picture. So, and each of these SOPs have their various programs, sanitation program, traceability program. It is something that I will recommend the African food chain makers to actually organize a program so they can train you people. Because most of the times what I notice is that the SMEs that are developing have no knowledge about these systems. So if there are issues, whatever they are producing or packaging, if there are issues with them, there's a problem. There is a problem. Calibration, good manufacturing practices, foreign material prevention program, all these are things that they are very practical. It's not theoretical that you'll be talking them, seeing them in the air. So these are some of the issues, adaptation strategies that we have adopted. Now, if we talk about mitigation, waste reduction programs, byproduct utilization. Now, most of our waste now, we use them for feed. We convert them to feed. We also work with farmers that comes and buy this waste to feed their animals on their farm. I've already spoken about the recycling system adopted. These are some mitigation strategies. Now, begin to think about sustainable packaging options. Moving beyond these plastics, plastic, and begin to think of what biodegradable materials for our system. So in short, because of time, one, as a business in agro-processing, we must adherence to certification and standard. Regulatory compliance in food processing and packaging is very key. They all feed into sustainability. We are talking about, they all feed into the climate change. Community focused awareness. We periodically host workshops for local farmers on climate resilient farming techniques, which helps farmers to be resilient across the supply chain. And basically talking about agro-processing. It should be to foster collaboration, just like you have joined African food chain makers to benefit from what I am sharing and other colleagues that will share some information with you. It also helps for you to be resilient in the face of this threat. So in conclusion, what I'll say is that climate change is our common enemy. It keeps disrupting lives, economies, and environment. Together, we can combat its impact with adaptation and mitigation strategies that ensure resilience and sustainability by proactively addressing the challenges posed by climate change, resource limitations, and evolving market demands. We are not only safeguarding our operations, but also set a standard for responsible food processing and packaging. So basically, if there are any questions, the floor is open, or if this comes to the end of my session and the mitigation strategies that we have adopted, and also the adaptation strategy that we have adopted. I spoke to you about the challenges that we are faced with in terms of the disruption in supply chain. Here and there, I spoke about the new norm that now banks, multinationals are also going directly, trying to work with companies that are thinking about adaptation. So basically, this is what I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vosbeth. Thank you so much for sharing with us. So what is your key takeaway from Mr. Vokia's session? So for me, it is the waste reduction program that he talked about, where they now convert their waste to animal feeds for farmers and all that. So what is your key takeaway? Let us see that in the comment section. So before we go into the question and answer, would like the second speaker to quickly speak, after which we'll now go to question and answer so that we're able to manage our time efficiently. So I'll share my screen again and quickly introduce our next speaker. Okay, so for today, our next speaker is our next speaker for today is Mercedes Njoku. He's the founder and CEO for Evans Peanut Butter Nigeria. So she's a result-driven entrepreneur, a speaker and coach passionate about empowering women to build and scale sustainable businesses from the comfort of their homes. She's the founder of Evans Peanut Butter, one of Nigeria's leading natural peanut butter brands, and a sought-after mentor for women entrepreneurs across Nigeria and beyond. Mercedes' journey into entrepreneurship began in 2013 when she started making peanut butter for her family and friends after discovering a rich natural foreign brand that ignited her curiosity. Her passion led to personal research and experimentation, eventually birthing Evans Peanut Butter. In July 2020, she officially launched production under the Evans brand, starting from the dining area of her home. Since then, the business has experienced remarkable growth, and the brand continues to welcome new distributors both locally and internationally. With a heart for impact and a word of experience, Mercedes is dedicated to helping other entrepreneurs unlock their potential, develop actionable strategies, and navigate the challenges of entrepreneurship with confidence. Through her inspiring work, she continues to encourage women to embrace their dreams and turn them into thriving realities. With a rousing ovation in the comment section, let us welcome Mercedes Njoku to the virtual podium. Hi, Mercedes. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon. How are we all doing?
Fine, fine. How are you too?
Very fine. Thank you. It's so good to be here today. My name is Mercedes Njoku, and like Patience has already said, I am the founder and the current CEO of Evans Peanut Butter. So at Evans, we are into the processing and packaging of natural peanut butter, all natural peanut butter, and we supply them to stores and make sales across Nigeria. So in today's discussion, we're talking about adaptation and mitigation strategies in food production and processing. And in this session, I'm going to focus on the processing aspect, which is where I actually work in currently. So what are these strategies that we're talking about? In module 3, we can see that it's all about using certain strategies to help to protect the climate while we go about our food processing. So food processing, food packaging, that is not the enemy, okay? It is not the enemy. It is the way we go about it. While we are going about our business, do we want to destroy the climate while at it? Do we want to still try and put our own quota to make the environment safe while we are at it? There are certain strategies that we can look at that, you know, while we are going about our business, we are still making it very safe for the environment. Of course, if the environment is good, it's going to be beneficial to all of us. And if the environment isn't good, all of us are going to suffer. For instance, if you see that the weather is no longer stable, perhaps it's supposed to be the period where it's raining, but you experience delays. It affects all of us because it is also going to cause a ripple effect down to production. The farmers are not going to be able to plant at the right time. We are not going to be able to harvest our food at the right time. And then it just trickles down like that, and it gets to you, the end user, because if it affects the farmer, who are the food producers, then it would definitely affect you, who is the consumer. So it's a topic that affects every one of us. So some of the strategies we're going to be looking at are, the first one we're going to talk about is eco-friendly packaging and labeling. Of course, we know that once you are in food processing, this has to do with the way that you add value to the food that you have received from the producers. You add value and you package them and you label them. So how do you go about this packaging and labeling that it makes it still safe for the climate? One way we can look at is using materials that are biodegradable, materials that are recyclable, materials that are compostable. So whether it is for your labeling, the paper that you are using, you can put in an effort to use labels that are going to be biodegradable, which also goes to imply that maybe you reduce the amount of color that you use in your labeling, because the more color you use, the more color you use on your labeling, the more it is bad for the environment. So if you reduce the number of colors that you use on your labeling, that you use for packaging your products, it also helps to save the environment. And so you can also make an effort to use glass jars. These glass jars is because, it's something that can be reused. When you use a glass jar that you bought with a product in it, after using the product in it, people can repurpose them for so many other things. So you recycle them, you use it for other things. The reason for this is because it helps to, prevent environmental pollution. If you are using plastic and these plastics are not recycled, a single plastic takes about 700 years to decompose. So for every single plastic that you put into the environment and it is not recycled, it means that you are contributing to a 700-year span of climate damage. So these are some of the benefits. It will help to reduce the pollution in the environment, and it's also going to boost your brand to individuals, organizations, and even the government, because they are looking forward to eco-friendly, eco-conscious producers, and some consumers as well. Also, they might not even be interested in, it is possible that they even have a particular product that they are currently using, but just for that reason that you are eco-conscious as a producer, it could make your brand appealing to them and they will switch and start using your own brand. The second method is going to be adaptation strategies. So what are those techniques that we will use to help us cope while we are processing these foods into an added value food? What are these processes that we're going to use? What are these techniques that we're going to use that will help with the climate? One of it could also be adjusting your processing timelines. So if you know that perhaps you're into drying of tomatoes, for instance, you want to do dried tomatoes, instead of having to use electricity to power your dehydrators, why not process those tomatoes during the dry season under the sun? That way, you are also helping to preserve the climate. Another example could also be for you to use solar dryers as against using the regular dehydrators. So they are dehydrators that are solar powered, and this will also help to dry up those products for sale. And then the third technique we're going to be looking at is going to be energy smart technology. So this has to do with using energy efficient machines, using renewable powered machines. So this refers to your power, your solar powered grinders, fridges, dryers. You know, if you're using things that are powered by the sun, it helps to preserve the environment, it helps to preserve the climate generally. So if you make the switch for the grinders that are powered by solar, the fridges that are powered by solar, and the good part about it is that it's also going to reduce cost for your business, because unlike using the regular electricity that you have to pay for every usage, the solar powered machines is such that the payment comes once and the benefit lasts for a very, very long time, because you're not going to have to pay for every sun usage. So it's just the initial payment, and then you get to enjoy more like free power. So it reduces emission. It reduces emission into the environment, and it also saves cost on the long run. And the fourth strategy that we're going to talk about is circular operations. And so this has to do with reusing, recycling, and repurposing your waste in your production line. So once you are into food processing or processing of any kind, you are going to encounter some waste. Some things are not going to end up in the final product, but you can also always reuse those things. You can always repurpose those things. So for instance, in the peanut industry, the shell, the hard brown shell that is broken off the back of peanuts can also be used in making briquettes, and it can also be used in making compost. So these are some of the ways that you can repurpose that. So you look at your own processing. What food process are you, what foods are you processing, and what waste are you generating from your processing line? And you also look at it and, okay, so what are ways that I can recycle? What are ways that I can reuse this waste instead of just throwing them out into the environment? Then some other ways that we use is that after roasting and peeling off the peanuts, the groundnuts, we have a process that is the sorting. So when we sort out these wastes, we pick out the ones that are not very good out of the ones that we want to use for the final peanut butter. The waste we get from sorting, we use it for animal feed. So we sell them off to farmers, and they use it in adding to the process for their own animal feed. So that is one way for us not to throw out our peanut waste at Ivan's Peanut Butter. And so some of the benefits for this, of course, is that it creates additional income. It creates extra income. Like I said, when we get the bulk of this waste from sorting, we now sell them off to farmers, and they grind them with some other ingredients that they combine together and they use it to make their animal feed. So, I mean, that is extra income that comes into the business. And of course, it helps to sort out a few things. And then another benefit is that it lowers waste, which is the overall thing we're talking about concerning the climate. And we also look at the final strategy is zero waste and green storage. So for zero waste, it has to do with sourcing wisely. So your raw materials, how are you sourcing them? How are you producing your raw materials? How are you repurposing the offcuts and the excess? Like I said, whether it is in food processing or not, there are always going to be wastages. So those excesses, how are you repurposing them instead of just sending them out into the environment? I know of a skincare brand, an artisanal skincare brand. When they cut off the soap, what they do with the excess, the trim-offs, is that because they have so many different variants of the soap, if that's what's called in the beauty industry. So they have a lot of these trim-offs from different variants, but what they do is that they put all together and make it like a medley, and it forms a whole different variant for them. So instead of them just trashing that out, they use this to make extra money and also to save the environment. And then another thing is that you can encourage and set up return schemes in your business. So if you are using like plastic jars or containers, you can set up these return schemes such that your customers could return a certain quantity of jars, a certain quantity of containers to your drop-off location, and they are given an incentive. So it could be like you could give them a percentage of their next purchase. You could give them some free products. Maybe you could say, if you return 20 empty jars to us, we're going to give you maybe one free product. So that helps you to also save money instead of having to buy these jars and fresh from your suppliers. It will help you to save money and also help to save the environment. And when we look at green storage, it has to do with the cold rooms that we use in preserving. Let's say you are into yogurt production. You know that your products have to be preserved all through. Your products cannot stay stable without the refrigerator. So how do you power your cold rooms? You can look at powering them using solar cold rooms, solar powered cold rooms, instead of using electricity. You can also look at using cooling systems such as clay pots, depending on the kind of product and how you can fit it into your business. So it reduces spoilage and it helps to maintain food safety, and it also cuts down energy use and costs. So in all of this discussion, it does not mean that you have to choose between climate responsibility and your business. No, it means that you can incorporate both of them and make it work in your business. It doesn't mean that you have to do everything at once, but taking one little step every day is going to help the climate move forward. And while you take one step, you can make arrangements to take another step. So I'm going to throw it out to you now, because when we start discussing, I would like to, get your contribution as well. So what is one way that you think in your business that you can go green? What is one way that you feel that you can contribute to the environment and to the climate and not damaging the climate? What is one way? How can your processing business, how can your packaging business contribute to the environment positively? So I would like everyone to contribute to that. And Thank you very much. And this is the end of my session. I'm open to any questions.
Thank you so much, Mercedes. Thank you so much. I'm sure the participants are already saying thank you in the comment section. Thank you so much. This is well appreciated. So quickly we'll go to the Q&A. But before the Q&A, can you tell us one thing that you have learned from Mercedes' session? What's the key takeaway for you? For me, it's talking about the circular operations, where she said you can reuse and repurpose everything in your operations. Whatever thing that you're using is not everything that you started with that will end up as your final product, but then you can repurpose all of them. And that's like a big deal for me. So let's see in the comment section what you have learned and then what it is that is a key takeaway for you. So quickly, let's go to the Q&A session. If you have a question that you want to ask either of the that you want to ask either of the facilitators, please raise your hand and then we'll ask you to unmute and ask your questions. So I just want all hands raised, and so that we can just know how many people are willing to ask questions today. Don't let your question give birth to another question or give birth to someone else's question. So if you have a question, please raise your hand and then I will just count everybody that have questions and then we'll take the questions one after the other, as well as contributions as well. Please. Okay, so I have 4 hands raised: Yaya Kamara, Dr. Moinat, Adra Michael, Moses Kaponda, Chisomo Fach. I think I have 5 hands raised. Okay, so we'll start. Please don't raise your hand once I start. If you raise your hand, I'm going to lower it. Okay, Adora Obianyo, I have 6 hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 hands. Please, only 6 hands are going to ask questions. If you have other questions that you want to ask, maybe as facilitators are speaking and you have something else to add, please just put it in the comment section and then we'll read it out. But please, we'll just get fixed on the 6 hands that are raised already. So I'll start with Yaya Kamara. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. Bonjour tout le monde.
Yes, please go ahead.
Ma question c'est quoi? Moi, je suis entrepreneur au Mali et je transforme nos produits locaux en nectar. Maintenant, lorsque j'utilise les emballages biodégradables, lorsque le produit, j'essaie de conditionner quand c'est chaud, les plastiques commencent à se fondre. Maintenant, je ne sais pas s'il y a une solution pour cela ou bien pourquoi les plastiques se fondent. Voilà, voici ma question. S'il y a des solutions que les formateurs peuvent m'aider à résoudre, ou bien s'il y a d'autres participants aussi qui peuvent me donner des solutions ou bien des stratégies à adopter. Merci.
All right, thank you so much. Drissa, please, you might have to interpret this for our facilitators to be able to take this up. So Drissa, you might have to move to the English room and interpret so that either of our facilitators can answer this question. So we are waiting for you. Please, once you get to the English room, you can just go ahead and unmute yourself and speak and interpret what Yaya Kamara has said so that he can get an answer for his question, please. Thank you so much. So while we wait for Drissa, let's just take another question. Dr. Munat Moninola Bello. I hope I didn't murder your name, I'm sorry, but please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My question goes to the first speaker. You know, in processing and packaging, we always have the menace of this aflatoxin infestation, and a lot of other things that destroy our food and our fishes. You know, how have they been able to combat this? It's a menace. After packaging, everything is sold. You see, started growing mold. a lot of things started happening within the packaging material. How are they able to do this? Then the person in the second speaker, my question is the use of Tetra Pak. I don't know if you have any experience in that. It's eco-friendly. When we use things like that, they use it for juice and not just drinks. Can we use something like that for our oil, like palm oil, groundnut oil? I don't know if you can give me insights. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Moina. Mr. Vosbert or Mercedes, any of you can go first.
Okay, thank you. My sister or my comrade in the industry, aflatoxin is a major issue in food processing. And you cannot solve it without going through the process. And food processing is, you have standard. You can't trade it for anything. I spoke about systems where you have to register with FDA, and some would ask, why is FDA registration linked to climate change? Before you even start production or processing, we call something facility inspection by the regulator. They come around to inspect your facility to see whether there are certain things you are conforming to what? The regulations. Where do you store your raw material? The conditions in the room? Do you have issues with pests? How do you receive your raw material? The processes that they go through before you produce the product. For instance, you want to produce cereal mix, Tom Brown. How do you source those raw materials? And when you source them and they arrive at the site, how do you do with them and how do you handle them? The testing is also the testing of the grains. For instance, grains, if you are using grains, you have to test them, moisture level. So if you're able to test the moisture level of the grain and use the product to process, you are contributing to the end where you'll be suffering from what? Aflatoxin. If you produce and they are in the form of flour, flour also has a moisture level that it must have. So if you use a poor grain to produce, at the end of the day, your flour also gives you a poor output. When some of the product passes through roasting and not properly done, after packaging and producing, have you equally submit your product to test? Maybe you have, in Ghana, we have FDA, Food and Drugs Authority, we have other private institutions, we have the CSR, Ghana Standard Board Authority. You have to submit your product to them for them to test. There are regulations, there are key parameters that you have to test. Aflatoxin is also part of that parameter. So any product that you are producing has their own parameters. Once you submit to them and they test the product and it's good, it means that you cannot produce the product commercially and sell. Ideally, every batch that you produce, you must subject that product to test. But here's the case, somebody's batch that you produce is probably maybe 100 pieces. So you cannot go and be testing tests, but if maybe those big companies that produce about 50,000, 100,000 per batch, that one, they have their private systems that they test. So at best, you go and test for your product after every 6 months, after every 3 months, if you have the means, go and test for this aflatoxins or whatever product you are producing. The parameters given to you by the regulator, go and test them. But before testing, try to put in, and I spoke about standard operating procedure. All those things, they contribute to the aflatoxin. So it's a whole lot of things on each one. But I believe the little I share would open your minds up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vosbert. Thank you so much. So let's just quickly go to the next person. Andra Michael, please go ahead and ask your question. Please, Drissa, we're still waiting for either of you in the French room to please interpret Yaya Kamara's question, or you could just type it in the comment section and then I'll take it up from there. Thank you so much. Andra Michael, please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My question goes to the second speaker. She talked about how color combination affects the environment. So I'm so much interested in knowing how color combination affects the environment. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Mercedes, this question is for you.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. So the more colors that you use, the more it affects the environment. So it's advisable to use more of neutral colors. And even if you want to use deeper colors like the blues, the reds, the orange, and all of those very bright colors, it's best to use them sparingly on your labels. So the way that it affects the climate is more like the deeper the color, the more it takes from the environment. I don't know if that makes any sense. So the deeper the color, the more it draws from the environment, because these colors as well these labels are going to leach into the environment. So it's best to use more of neutral colors, less of the deeper colors. For our own labeling, our brand has red. So what we did in our labeling was that we used the red sparingly, and we just used like a couple of red just to enhance the label for us, but we used white and we also used brown, which are neutral colors.
All right, thank you so much, Mercedes. Thank you so much. So I have a question in the comment section, and this person is saying, my question is regarding packaging. Can you give us examples of biodegradable materials that can be used for packaging of powdered produce? This is a question from the comment section. So Mr. Vosbert or Mercedes, either it wasn't specific to anybody, so either of you can just go ahead.
So it depends on how your produce is going to do with a particular packaging. Now, some suggestions I could give are like paper packaging, like there are these brown paper bags. But if you're not like using, processing flour, if you're not processing flour, there are certain produce that will not do well in that kind of packaging, more like it will not be preserved. It will not reach its full shelf life with that kind of packaging, because your packaging also contributes to the shelf life of your finished product. So if you cannot use the compostable paper bags, like those brown paper bags, you can also opt to use plastic bags, even though these plastic bags are not decompostable. But what you can do in this case is that you will not have to encourage your customers to recycle. So they can recycle in their homes. They can also bring them to certain locations for you so that you recover these plastic bags and use them in repackaging newer products for them.
All right, thank you so much. So Moses Kaponda, please go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, greetings, everyone.
Good evening. Please, we can hear you.
Yeah. My first is not a question first. Let me start with a compliment. I should say it's great because I'm from the solar department, from solar energy and ecology, solar solution systems. So it was great because I was hearing about how we can put energy to work, talking about the solar technologies. That was wonderful. Then my question comes in, which I really want to get a clarification. We are learning each and every day, we understand, but I want to ask, is there any possibility whereby we can be allocated with a specific specialist in a particular type of a business where we are planning to work, when we say we need to end hunger, we need to end poverty in Africa? So as for us, we are dealing with the solar water pumping system. So in solar water pumping systems, we are working around here in Malawi, working with the farmers in the rural communities as cooperative farmers. So we want to know, is there a possibility that we can be allocated with either someone who's a specialist in a particular field of a business so that can work with us? That was my question. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Moses. So for being allocated specialists, we are planning mentoring programs for every alumni of the BRACE program, where we'll be able to, bring mentors for the participants that are now alumni. So watch out for that program. If you have not registered and all of that, we're going to be sharing the application to everyone in this batch so that you can as well register for it, so that if you need help within your specialty, within your value chain, there's a mentor that will be allocated to you to be able to get you through all of that. So please, mentorship program is available for the BRACE alumni. Thank you so much. So Adora Obianyo, please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, yes, please go ahead.
Okay, good evening, moderator. Thank you very much, our facilitators for today. The entire BRACE program has been very impactful. I'm very glad to participate in this program. I am particularly interested in the processing and packaging aspects, this module. So it's not a question per se. It could be a request or something. I want to direct it to the second speaker, Madam Mercedes. Madam, please, is there any way you could refer us to sources? I think you are speaking from Nigeria, right? Even if you're not, well, I want some reference to sources of solar dehydrators, solar refrigerators, or cold rooms. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Mercedes, do you want to go ahead?
Okay, yes. Madam Adora, yes, I'm speaking from Nigeria, and regarding the solar dehydrators, I think that patients will be in a better position to make that recommendation because they have certain contacts for that.
Okay, yes. All right, thank you so much. Adora, we are actually having a list of, I wanted Mercedes to speak to that since you already asked her and all that. We have a list of, experts and agri facilitators and all that can do some of these things and then are into some of these things and all of that. But then I don't know if it's proper to start calling names in this session, but then you can send us an email or even reach out to me on WhatsApp, and then I will share some list of contacts with you that you can reach out for dehydrators, solar dehydrators, and all of that. And then if you have also maybe in module 4, you will also get to see some of that. For module 4, where we talked about logistics and distribution and all that, the facilitator for that module in the report actually talked a whole lot about solar dehydrators, solar dryers, and all of those things. And then his establishment does a lot around that as well. But then we can share that after now. Thank you so much. Chisomo Fach, please go ahead.
Thank you very much for such insightful presentations. My question is specifically to the first presenter. Just in brief, basically, I'm in the production side. I'm a farmer, but I would like to go into processing and packaging. So you mentioned about having enough stock, adequate stock, for quote unquote rainy days, in a case where maybe the crop that you're processing didn't do well, or there's been drought, or there's been a lot of rains. For someone like me that wants to go into processing and packaging, what would be your advice? Do you wait until you know you have adequate stock before you start, or you start slowly and then eventually build up enough stock that will generally last you for a year? Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Mr. Vosbeth. Okay, please go ahead, sir.
I think that's a good question. First, since you are a farmer and you are yet to enter into the processing section, the best advice I can give you is to first come out with market research in the area that you are. If you want to penetrate maybe market A, market B, or area C, do some sort of research about the product, what consumers are saying. And as a result of the research, I'm sure there are a lot of issues that will pop up. Consumers will raise concerns about, okay, we like this product, and even if you patronize this product, we prefer it to be packaged in this size. And even if it be packaged in this size, we want this, so this is the price I am willing to pay the product at. So those informations are going to inform you to take a decision. And a consumer is likely to say that we are buying some product which is related to this one, or you are not the first person introducing this product, but the one I'm currently taking, these are some of my displeasures. Is going to say some of his pain point. So at the end of the day, you are now going to take this data, gather the pain point of the consumer with regards to an existing product that is taken, then you are going to develop your product based on a market demand. If that product comes out, you gradually buy your raw material to supply, to actually process. So gradually, it's going to be demand driven. So if you see how your business is picking up, then you begin to put systems in place where you don't just rely on just one supplier. If you don't have the capital to buy stock, 1 month, 2 months, you can have multiple suppliers that you can fall on any of them at any given point in time should you have issues with your raw material supply chain. Basically, that's what I would say. I hope I've answered you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Vosbeth. Thank you, Chisomo as well. So there are some questions in the comment section. I'll just read 1 or 2 of those questions and all that. Someone is asking, is there any biodegradable packaging material that can be used in packaging liquid organic fertilizer aside plastic bottles? That's one question. And then the other person is saying, please, I want to know how wetland contributes to adaptation and mitigation in processing. Mr. Vosbeth, you're already unmuted. Just go ahead.
Okay, with regards to the biodegradable packaging option, there are a lot of them on the market, a lot of paper packs that you can even package liquid products in them. There are a lot of them. Those manufacturers that are in that industry too, they have designed it specifically for that. So the best is to recommend is to engage those manufacturers, those companies that are into paper pouch production. They will be the best place to get these materials from. They are on the market, and I've seen a couple of packaging that are on the market. Then there was another question that I saw, which is in my industry, about is that moisture after packaging, how moisture contribute, how product absorb moisture. Basically, is a serious issue in the industry, and that can happen as a result of one, the residual moisture if the product wasn't fully dried. or cooled before you start sealing. You know, there are some people who have sealing machines at their factory, and you are buying using these pouches to actually fill in before you do your manual sealing. So if in the process of sealing and the product is not cool or it's not fully dried before you actually engage in a sealing, the trapped moisture can redistribute in the product again. So that is why the SOP comes in here. I don't joke with SOP. The SOP comes in here. It also could come from packaging material limitation. If the packaging isn't fully moisture proof or ambient humidity can seep in, that is also another area. And you know, because something, the hygroscopic ingredient, some raw materials like maize flour, cassava starch, they naturally attract moisture from the air. So these are some of the things that we should take note of. So what are the solutions? One solution is the use of moisture barrier packaging, materials like there are some materials that moisture absorbent films. They can drastically reduce the ingress. There's a particular ingress, the gas that comes in. That one is a technical issue that those that are into manufacturing, they know what to do. There's another, but at our end, what you should do is that you should improve on drying and cooling protocols. Ensure products are cool to ambient temperature, moisture content. There are test kits that you can use to test your flours to ensure that they are okay before you can start processing. Some people adopt vacuum sealing, removing oxygen and moisture-laden air from the headspace can also help preserve the product's integrity. These are some of the things that we do at our level basically. Now you asked about wetlands, how wetlands affect agro process. Is that so?
Yes, how wetland affects adaptation and mitigation in processing.
We know what our wetlands are. So if an area is designated as a wetland, we talk about poor road access due to soggy terrain can delay raw materials delivery. So if you want to set up your factory, and you know how stubborn we are as Africans, sometimes you go and establish factories in places that is being designated as a wetland. Recently, I learned the government has went in Ghana to demolish places that are located in wetlands, and these are factories, and they complain that if it rains, accessibility becomes an issue. So if your factory is in that area, transport and logistics issues, one. And also post-harvest losses, high humidity accelerates spoilage of perishable goods and increases the risk of mold or aflatoxin contamination in the grains. So if your factory is located in those wetlands area, it can also cause. Another area is infrastructure instability. Excess moisture can weaken foundations of your processing facility, making it difficult to install, operate a heavy machinery. I went to some factories where the location was very bad. They have installed the machines, and the way the machines were so heavy and vibrating, and because of structural issues, they have to relocate. Energy inefficiency, more energy is required to draw raw material. There are some packaging machines that you need heat. So the more the environment is very cool, you need more heat to do your sealing. Otherwise, when you package your product, there'll be leakage. Basically, there'll be air also entering. But if the environment is hot, you need less energy by the machine. So probably your temperature will be around maybe 100. But if the environment is very cool, by our experience, we raise it up to maybe 150. Water contamination, if not managed, runoff from wetlands can introduce pathogens or sediment into processing water sources. So these are some of the effect of wetlands on agro-processing. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Vosbert. So before we allow our facilitators go, please, like we always do, we'll take our pictures and Oh, my video is even off. Let me on my video. So please, let's put on our videos and our best smiles and take a photo session with our facilitators. In case you get to Ghana next month and then you see Mr. Busbe, you show him this picture to say, yeah, I was in the same session with you and this is my evidence. So please, let's capture our evidences now that our videos are on. Yes, thank you so much. So I know that my colleagues will be taking the pictures. If your video isn't on it yet, please go ahead and on your video so that we can take those photos together. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for putting on your videos. Thank you so much, Mr. Vosbet. Thank you so much, Mercedes. Thank you for, coming to share with us today. We are really grateful for this, and we enjoy and appreciate the insights that you have both shared in this session. Thank you so much. And yeah, I know the participants are saying thank you in the comment section already. So everyone, let's say thank you to Mercedes and Mr. Vosbet. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So quickly, like we always do, if you have a challenge with the portal or you have other challenges with your learnings and you want to, gain clarification, or you have an inquiry, a question, whatever that you need to ask us in this session, please raise your hand and then I'll just quickly ask you to unmute and ask whatever question that you have concerning the portal. As we go on. So as we are doing that, I'll also be sharing a survey on the screen. Please do well to fill the survey. It is actually a way of helping us do better with the live interactive session to know how impactful it has been. If there's anything to change, the poll is what will help us to be able to do that. So I'll just share the poll now, and please go ahead and start filling it. All right, so please, if you can see the question on your screen, please go ahead and fill the poll. So I have so many hands raised. I have Moshood Mejibetu, Aida Men, Happiness. So please, Moshood, please go ahead and let's have your question. Moshood, I'm asking you to unmute and speak.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited. I'm happy to be part of this project. I give kudos to everyone that is making it is highly impactful. I need an urgent assistance when it comes to, because I also do exportation. Are you hearing me? Hello? Hello?
Sorry, please, can you take that again? I can't hear you.
Yes, I said I need an urgent attention because I also engage in export. Yes, I started engaging in exportation based on the lecture that I was given yesterday, and I have secured an interest for international buyer of cashew, about 200 tons. And he's sending some documents, and I need to fix some documents, and I need to solve some issues. So I would love if I could carry African Food Chain Maker. I would love to engage to carry me along so that it will be a successful business transaction.
All right, thank you so much, Moshood. So for this is a personal request. Please send an email to African Food Chain Makers. You could even, if you're a member, you can send it to the membership team, membership at afchub.org. That's the email address. Please send us an email, and then the needed help will be, given to you. This is BRACE program. It's different from the exports program, but then we have the exports wing that will take care of that. All right, so Aida Men, Happiness, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Madam.
Go ahead.
Please,
Good
my
afternoon.
question is regarding the assessment questions on the site. Most times, I notice that when we are done answering the questions, we are only giving a score or percentage. We don't get a chance to see what we answered wrongly, because based on what we believe we have understood, we give an answer that we expect that it should be 100, only to see something below, and we are not giving the scores. We are not showing the answers so that we'll know where we went wrong and what is right and what is wrong. Is there a way the system can be processed in a way programmed in a way that we can see the correct and the right answers? Thank you.
Oh, well, if you see the correct and the wrong answer, they will not be able to achieve top scholars anymore. Sorry. So it's actually, programs that way, so that you have the possibility of answering again and again, like 3 times before you are not able to, go ahead again. So please, if we allow everybody sees and all of that, the question, and then you go back and answer it again, everybody who scored 100 will not be able to choose our top class anymore. So apologies about that. Thank you. Yeah, Kamara, please go ahead.
Voilà, bonsoir tout le monde. Maintenant, lors du week-end numéro 1, moi j'avais posé une question. Oui, vous pouvez traduire en anglais, au lieu de traduire en français. Maintenant, pour les visites, comment ça se fera, le choix? Je me demande comment vous allez procéder au choix des participants qui vont faire les visites de terrain après la formation, après le programme. Merci beaucoup.
All right, thank you so much. Drisa or Ramat, who is there, please? You have to interpret to us. Hi, Drisa. Hi, Ramat. Please let us know what Yaya Kamara just asked again. And Margaret, please go ahead and unmute.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead, Margaret.
Yeah. Okay, I want to check here. If we didn't get the total, are we still going to get the certificates? Yeah? Can you hear me?
Hi, Margaret, is cracking. Okay, please. What did you ask?
Okay, I've asked that even if we don't get the total, are we going to get the certificates?
Even if what? You might have to say that again.
Okay,
if you didn't get the total.
Yes, on the modules, are we going to get the certificates?
Most definitely, you have to attempt all the modules from module 1 to module 6. You have to attempt them to be able to get certificates, but you don't have to score. You don't have to score 100% to be able to get certificates. Just attempt them. So attempting all the questions actually help us understand that you have actually gone through that module. So if you have gone through the module, you should attempt the questions. If you attempt the questions, you definitely get certificates eventually. Thank you so much. Tago, please go ahead.
You.
Please, Tago, I'm asking you to unmute and ask your question. So, Yaya Kamara, you were asking what the criteria for study visit is. So, to qualify for study visits, all you need to do or be is to be an alumni. So, you need to be able to graduate from the BRACE program and get your certificate. So certificate is the requirement, the basic requirement to participate in study visits. Thank you so much. So Tago, I'm asking you to unmute and go ahead. And please, if you have not filled the survey, it's still on the screen, please help us and fill the survey. Thank you so much. All right, Vincent, please go ahead if Tago is not available. Vincent, I'm asking you to unmute and go ahead.
Okay, thank you, madam, for this chance. Yeah, my question goes for, I want to know, for myself, I was not ready to attend the last sessions. So I want to know if it will... Hello? Hello, Madam Patient. Hello.
Please, can you say that again? The network is really cracking. I barely heard what you said. Please, you might have to repeat that.
Hello. Yeah, I'm asking if I could be able to get a certificate. Certificate, because last sessions attended the sessions because my phone was working. I want to know if it will be possible for me to get certificate after attending all the sessions.
Oh, okay, so for certificates, you can get certificates after if you miss 1 or 2 sessions. That's actually very okay. So at the end of everything, if you have gone through all the modules in the portal, you can still be able to download your certificate, right? So next week is when we'll be making the certificates open so that for people that have finished all the modules can start downloading their certificates. So you're able to download your certificates going forward, and you don't have to attend all the 6 live interactive sessions to download certificates. You need 60% to download certificate. So if you missed 2 sessions in the past, just ensure that you did not miss the remaining sessions that is ahead of us. Thank you so much. Margaret Ndwandwe, please go ahead. I'm sorry if I murdered that name. I'm sorry. So for people that are asking for the survey is still on the screen. We have not ended it. So please.
No,
look
it's
at the
all the
screen
hand.
and-
Sorry. It's all the hand.
Okay, Margaret,
Sorry.
please go ahead.
It's all the hands. Sorry.
Oh, okay, okay. You said you didn't raise your hand. All right. Patience Kiza, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the session. Mine is, I think from around like about 2 weeks back, I've not been able to access. Okay, I can access my portal, but the modules don't download. I don't know why. I have tried it severally and it has not worked. I actually tried to reach out, but still nothing is like, it's not helping at all. I really don't know how I can be helped.
Okay, you're not able to download the module. You're not supposed to be able to download the modules, but
okay, maybe let me clarify. Like the modules don't, like I can't watch the videos.
they're not
I can't-
opening.
Yes, they are not opening. Thank you.
Okay, so the portal is, you are able to open your dashboard, but the modules are not opening. That has to be network issues. But please send your login details to any of the admins in the WhatsApp group so that they can log in from their end and be sure that the challenge you are having is not that of network. Thank you. So Chinomso, please go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the section. Please, I want to ask if the survey link can be pasted in the chat box, not on WhatsApp here? And secondly, how can one know, because for this is the third class, I know this, the first one I joined in the middle, the second one I joined, but not with my full name. Is it possible to get that corrected?
It's not possible to get that corrected. That's why we always announce that you join with your name, even if it is one of your names. We'll be able to trace it from your application, as well. That's why we always encourage in each any of the session that people should join with their names. But if you know the name you join with, you can send that name to us on to any of the admins on WhatsApp, and then we'll check the records to see that name, and then we can change it to us. Right.
Okay. I also want to ask, there are some opportunities on the website, which includes the Bank of Industry, Stanbic, and the rest of it. Is there a guide on how to apply for all of those things? Probably financing for business.
Okay, so where you see it, just there is an email address there. Just reach out to that email address, because you have to be a member to be able to enjoy any of that benefits. So reach out to that email address. Then the membership team will take it up and guide you appropriately on how you can go about that opportunity you're seeing in the website.
Okay.
So for the poll, you said we should. Okay. It's 6 weeks.
Sorry, go ahead.
So it's 6 weeks program.
Okay,
It's 6 weeks e-learning program. So after the 6th live interactive session, it has ended.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, thank you. So for the poll, you said it should come as a survey. So it's actually a poll so that we're able to real-time know the number of people that are answering the questions and all that. If you make it a survey, it's possible that you will log out and then we'll still put the survey link in the chat box and nobody would open it. But for the poll, we are seeing it directly, and then we're able to track how many people have clicked on it and all that. So, and it's still on the screen right now. So you can just go ahead and fill it now that it's still on the screen, right? Thank you so much. So Faith Francis, please go ahead. Faith Francis will be the last question we'll be taking today. Thank you so much, Faith. Faith, please go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My question goes like this. I find it difficult to log into my dashboard, talk more of participating fully the way others. I don't know if it's from my end or there is somewhere I need to go to get to do that. Thank you.
Please reach out to any of if you're in the WhatsApp group, reach out to any of the admins in the WhatsApp group, and then they will be able to support you and help you, access your dashboard effectively. Or if you're not in the WhatsApp group, send an email to braze@afcob.org, and we'll be very happy to help you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. So for our membership community, if you see any link or anything in the website, you have to be a member to be able to enjoy all of those things. And that's why we always encourage everybody to become a member of the African Food Changemaker, so that beyond just participating in the BRACE program, you're able to enjoy all of these other benefits. You see an opportunity, you're able to click on it, you're able to also understand how to source for funding and how to do other things and enjoy other programs as well. So please, my colleagues are dropping the membership link in the chat box. Please go ahead and click on that link, and then it will take you to how you can become a member. Click on it and become a member of the African Food Changemaker. There are a whole lot that you stand to benefit from being a member of the African Food Changemakers. So it's being a BRACE participant, being just a BRACE participant can limit you, but then once you become a member, you are free, and then you have the liberty to be able to get other opportunities that comes from African Food Changemaker. So for next steps, please Next week, Friday, will be our live interactive session for Module 4. Please, if you have not taken the Module 4 in the portal, go ahead and log into the portal, take Module 4, and ensure to take the assessment and come with your key takeaway from Module 4 next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Our time is fast spent, and it's been a very wonderful time, with you all, a very wonderful session. Looking forward to the session for next week. Do have a very wonderful day, everyone. Bye.